What's up, everybody? It's Raphael, and I hate people. We went through a lot on chapters. Let's just say episode 6. We went through a lot on episode 6 in the Bible. Um, we're now on episode 7, chapters 25 through 29. Let's do a quick recap. Uh, let's see. Abraham had taken another wife named Keturah. Abraham taken another wife. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. Um, Abraham lived 175 years old. There, Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. Okay, so it's been a while since my last reading, so I'm a little. I forgot a lot. All right, I forgot a lot, but yeah, it's a good thing I highlighted some stuff. Anyway, um, Ishmael lived to be 137 years old. I guess we'll learn more about him later, I guess. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebecca, and she ended up having twins. Um, Two boys, Esau and Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to the boys. The boys grew up. Esau became a skillful hunter, and Jacob a stay-at-home mom. But for real, he did stay at home. Like, he was content with being in the house. So I'm assuming that he took the role of the woman of the house. It's not my place to say. But anyway, Isaac loved Esau, but Rebecca loved Jacob. Um, okay, so yeah, I remember this. Jacob was kind of crafty. He talked Esau into selling his birthright to him, which is weird to me for somebody to care about stuff like that back then. I don't know what that meant back then, but to me, I guess I'm thinking either I own like a slave. So that could be the case. I don't know yet. But yeah, he tricked Esau into selling him his birthright. He made him swear before feeding him because Jacob cooked. Esau came in from hunting or whatever. Blah blah blah. Chapter 26. There was a famine in the land besides the previous that in Abraham's time. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Stay in this land. I will be with you and bless you." So basically, the Lord appeared to Isaac just like he appeared to Abraham and the people before that. Promised him the same stuff. You know, do as I say, and you'll be fruitful. You'll have more children than the sand particles in the dirt. Stuff like that. But yeah, so he stayed there in the place that he told him to stay in this land. So he stayed in that land. Um, let's see. When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister. She is my sister," because he was afraid to say she is my wife. Okay, so again, same nigga. I mean, different nigga, same situation. Uh, Isaac was scared to admit that Rebecca was his wife, and he lied and said she was his sister, and it was all for nothing. He just was scared he was gonna get killed by the people who wanted her. But Abimelech, king of the Philistines, saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebecca. That's how he got busted. They always end up getting busted. No, they don't. I forgot. The last time, God showed up to the king in a dream. Yeah, I think. I forgot. It's been a while. But anyway, um, yeah. So Abimelech gave orders: anyone who harms this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. And that was it. Didn't have to lie no more. Isaac had many flocks and herds and servants. The Philistines envied him. Okay, so after Abimelech gave the order, Isaac began living his life. He planted crops, did this, did that. God blessed him in everything that he did. But the Philistines, they didn't like it. You in my land, you getting all these blessings, and we're not getting as much as you. Uh, so with that being said, Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You're getting too powerful. We don't like it. We don't. No, not more powerful than us. We wanted you to stay here for peace, but you're doing too much." Anyway, Isaac moved away in the valley of Gerar or Gerar. That's where he settled. Isaac's servants dug in the valley, but the herders of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac. So even though Abimelech, set him, well, I guess let him move away peacefully, Abimelech's people, the Philistines, they still had that envy in them, and yeah, it was hating. The Philistines was hating. Wait, is this still the Philistines? No, that's not the Philistines. That's the people of Gerar. Duh. Anyway, these people hating, and wherever he moved, they moved, and they started some shit. It was beef everywhere they went. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so later Abimelech had come to Isaac from Gerar. I'm gonna just let that be what it is. We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. Okay, so Abimelech, he wants some of the action. So basically, Abimelech's like, let's make a treaty, let's make a deal, let's be friends, and this and that. Isaac was down. He made him feast and everything. They ate, they drank, they did this, they did that. Early the next morning, the men swore the oath and went on about their business. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemeth, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. So I guess we're gonna dig into that. But Isaac had got old. He could no longer see, and he called for Esau, his oldest son, told him to go hunt, bring back some food. I'll bless you before I die. Rebekah was eavesdropping. She heard it. She told Jacob to do the same thing, except he didn't have to take as long. So Jacob came back before Esau did. Let me go back into something right quick. Before Jacob did that, he asked his mama Rebekah. He said, I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than blessing. Okay, so he didn't ask, but he let her know, like, hey, this don't sound like a good idea. But his mama said, my son, let the curse fall on me. So she's saying she'll take the blame. Don't worry. So Rebekah took the clothes of Esau and put them on Jacob, covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with goat skins. This is to trick Isaac, so he would think that Jacob is Esau because he can't see. Remember? Okay, so Jacob took Isaac the food. Isaac blessed Jacob. After blessing Jacob, Esau came in because, he was supposed to have made it back. So Esau came in, told his daddy, let's eat. Isaac was like, what you mean, let's eat? I just ate. You just fed me. What's going on here? Anyway, long story short, found out Jacob had tricked Isaac. Esau wanted to kill him over it, and Rebekah told Jacob to run, move for a while, let Esau cool off, so you stay gone for a while, and I'll send for you when the time is come or whatever. And he did. he went to go stay with let's see, uh, Rebecca's brother's place, Laban in Haran. Her brother Laban in Haran, and yeah, he did. Uh, let's see. Isaac told Jacob, "Don't marry a Canaanite woman. Go to the house of your mother's father, Bethuel." Okay, so basically, Isaac gave him the blessing to leave, and Esau learned that Isaac had gave Jacob that blessing, and Esau, I don't know, Esau got kind of, what's the word? Rebellious. Esau kind of got rebellious. He went to Ishmael, the other side of the family, and married Mahalath, sister of Nebaioth, and daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham. Okay, so yeah. Uh, Isaac didn't want that, but he did. Anyway, uh, Jacob set out, had a dream. God showed up. Told him the same thing he told all the other ancestors. You know, I will not leave you until I've done what I've promised you. And Jacob took a stone. The stone that Jacob slept on, they had some hard hits. The stone that Jacob slept on, he set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it and called that place Bethel. The city used to be called Luz, L-U-Z. Jacob made a vow, if God will be with me so that I return safely to my father's household, this stone will be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will give you a tenth. So I guess that's where tithes and offerings come from. Don't sound like a rule to me. It sounds like something that he just wanted to do on his own. I don't know. Could be a rule somewhere later in the Bible. We ain't got that far. But yeah, that don't sound like a rule to me. It sounds like he just wanted to do that. Yeah. Anyway, Jacob continued his journey. Asked the shepherds that he met at a well, "Where you from?" They said, "From Haran." And no, that was serious. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so yeah, this led to Jacob meeting Rachel, because these men were of Haran, which is where Rachel's brother was from, Laban, and he ended up meeting Rachel and instantly fell in love. Rachel was the one he wanted. And let's see. After a whole month, Laban said to him, "Should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." So basically, Laban asked Jacob, how can I pay you? And Jacob said he was in love with Rachel, and he'll work 7 years for Laban in return for Rachel. Laban said, "It's better that I give her to you than some other man. So you got yourself a deal." Let's see. But Laban had tricked Jacob. He sent his daughter Leah to him, and he made this, I guess, at night, so he couldn't see. I don't know. He made love to Leah, and in the morning came. Jacob said, "I served you for Rachel. Why have you deceived me?" And Laban replied, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter before the older one. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we'll give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years." You gotta give up that old something about that number. Hey, Jacob did it. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna do it, but whatever." So he did it. Ended up getting Rachel and Leah, and yeah. Let's see what else we got. The Lord saw that Leah was not loved. He enabled her to conceive. Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant with four sons. Four sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Then she stopped having children. And that's where we left off. Well, let's dive right on in. Chapter 30. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die. Can't take it." Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her." So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. He has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this, she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won." It's a competition out there to have kids. But she didn't have any. Us lady, but whatever, win is a win. We're gonna take the dub. Anyway, so she named him Naphtali. 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 Verse 9. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. They really in competition on who can give Jacob the most kids. I cannot believe it. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "What good fortune." So she named him Gad, G-A-D. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, how happy I am. The women will call me happy. So she named him Asher, A-S-H-E-R. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said to her, "Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take my son's mandrakes too?" "Very well," Rachel said. "He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. "You must sleep with me," she said. "I have hired you with my son's mandrakes." How? How did you hide? Aren't y'all mad? Oh my God. Whatever. She said she hired him. So he slept with her that night. That's all it took. God listened to Leah, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Then Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband." Rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband. That does not sound like something that you should be rewarded for, but whatever. So she named him, Issachar, Issachar. I don't know the word. Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Then Leah said, "God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because I have bore him six sons." So she named him Zebulun. Zebulun? Zebulun. Zebulun? I don't know. Sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter named her Dinah, Dinah. 22. Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, "God has taken away my disgrace." She named him Joseph and said, "May the Lord add to me another son." 25. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Send me on my way so I can go back to my homeland. Give me my wives and children for whom I have served you, and I will be on my way. You know how much work I've done for you." But Laban said to him, If I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. I have learned by divination I don't know what that means, but I got comprehension. Let's see. I've learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. He added, "Your name your wages, and I will pay them." And Jacob said to him, "You know how I have worked for you, and how your livestock has fared under my care. The little you had before I came has increased greatly, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I have been. But now, when may I do something for my own household?" "What shall I give you?" he asked. "Don't give me anything," Jacob replied, but if you will do this one thing for me, I will go on tending your flocks and watching over them. Let me go through all your flocks today and remove from them every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and every spotted or speckled goat. They will be my wages, and my honesty will testify for me in the future. Whenever you check on the wages you have paid me, any goat in my possession that is not speckled or spotted, or any lamb that is not dark-colored, will be considered stolen." "Agreed," said Laban. "Let it be as you have said." That same day he removed all the male goats that were streaked or spotted, and all the speckled or spotted female goats, all that had white on them, and all the dark-colored lambs, and he placed them in the care of his sons. Then he put a 3-day journey between himself and Jacob. While Jacob, wait, what? So this is Laban's doing, or Laban, however you say his name. My bad. Then he put a 3-day journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to tend the rest of Laban's flocks. Jacob, however, took fresh-cut branches from poplar, Poplar, almond, and plane trees, and made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in all the watering troughs, or troughs rather, so that they would be directly in front of the flocks when they came to drink. When the flocks were in heat and came to drink, they made it in front of the branches. Woo, this one is, it's killing me. And they bore, see, that'd be killing me. Punctuations and anyway, and they bore young that were streaked or speckled or spotted. Jacob set apart the young of the flock by themselves, but made the rest face the streaked and dark-colored animals that belonged to Laban. Thus he made separate flocks for himself and did not put them with Laban's animals. Whenever the stronger females were in heat, Jacob would place the branches in the troughs in front of the animals so they would mate near the branches. But if the animals were weak, he would not place them there. So the weak animals went to Laban and the strong ones to Jacob. In this way, the man grew exceedingly prosperous and came to own large flocks, and female and male servants, and camels and donkeys. 31. Jacob heard, dang, that was a long chapter. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, "Jacob has taken everything our father owned and has gained all this wealth from what belonged to our father." And Jacob noticed that Laban's attitude towards him was not what it had been. Then the Lord said to Jacob, "Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you." So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah to come out to the fields where his flocks were. He said to them, "I see that your father's attitude toward me is not what it was before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I've worked for your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me by changing my wages 10 times. However, God has not allowed him to harm me. If he said the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the flocks gave birth to speckled young. And if he said the streaked ones will be your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked young. So God has taken away your father's livestock and has given them to me. In breeding season, I once had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goats mating with the flock were streaked, speckled, or spotted. The angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob, I answered. I don't like the way they do this. Jacob, I answered, here I am. And he said, look up and see that all the male goats mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, or spotted. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, and where you made a vow to me. Now leave this land at once and go back to your native land. Then Rachel and Leah replied, Do we still do, do we still have any share in the inheritance of our father's estate? Excuse me, y'all. I am like dying by the hand of the book. Yeah. Let's continue. Okay, so let's read 14 again. Then Rachel and Leah replied, Do we still have any share in the inheritance of our father's estate? Does he not regard us as foreigners? Not only has he sold us, but he has used up what was paid for us. Surely all the wealth that God took away from our father belongs to us and our children. So do whatever God has told you. Then Jacob put his children and his wives on camels, and he drove all his livestock ahead of him, along with all the goods he had accumulated in Padan Aram. Padan Aram. I don't know how to say the word. To go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. When Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel stole her father's household gods. I feel like that's supposed to say goods, but whatever. Moreover, Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean by not telling him he was running away. So he fled with all he had, crossed the Euphrates River, and headed for the hill country of Gilead, Gilead. 22. On the third day, Laban was told Jacob had fled, taking his relatives with him. He pursued Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. 24. Then God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Jacob had pitched his tent in the country hill of Gilead when Laban overtook him, and Laban and his relatives camped there too. Then Laban said to Jacob, What have you done? You've deceived me, and you've carried off my daughters like captives in war. Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me so I could send you away with joy and singing to the music of timbrels and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you, but last night the God of your father said to me, Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's household. But why did you steal my gods? I said gods again. I thought it meant goods, but let's see what it means. Jacob answered Laban, I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, that person shall not live in the presence of our relatives. See for yourself whether there is anything of yours here with me, and if so, take it. If so, take it. Now Jacob did not know Rachel had stolen the gods. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two female servants, but he found nothing. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside her camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched through everything in the tent but found nothing. Rachel said to her father, Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I'm having my period. So he searched but could not find the household gods. Jacob was angry and took Laban to task. What is my crime? He asked Laban. How have I wronged you that you hunt me down? Now that you have searched through all my goods, what have you found that belongs to your household? Put it here in front of your relatives and mine, and let them judge between the two of us. I have been with you for 20 years now. Your sheep and goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten rams from your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. Myself. I bore the loss myself. I don't know what he's saying. And you demanded payment from me for whatever was stolen by the day or night. This was my situation. The heat consumed me in the daytime and the cold at night, and sleep fled from my eyes. It was like this for the 20 years I was in your household. I worked for you 14 years for your two daughters and 6 years for your flocks, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been with me, you would surely have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands, and last night he rebuked you. Laban answered Jacob, the women are my daughters, the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All you see is mine. Yet what can I do today about these daughters of mine, or about the children they have borne? Come now, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between us. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. He said to his relatives, gather some stones. So they took the stones and piled them in a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha, Jegar space Sahadutha, Sahadutha, Jegar Sahadutha. I don't know. And Jacob called it Gilead. That's a whole lot better. Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me today, that is why it is called Gilead. It was also called Mizpah, Mizpah, because he said, may the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. All right, here we go. Verse 50. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives besides my daughters, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness between you and me. Laban also said to Jacob, here is this heap, and here is this pillar I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not go past this heap and pillar to my side to harm me. May the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor and the God of their father judge between us. So Jacob took an oath in the name of the fear of his father. He offered a sacrifice there in the hill country, and invited his relatives to a meal. After they had eaten, they spent the night there. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then he left and returned home. That was chapter 31. Why are these chapters so long? All right. Look, we're going to stop it there. I'm going to come back. We're going to do 32 and make it do what it do. But, man, this one, what is it? Basically, Jacob and his whatever. Yeah. I still don't like the whole God favoring like a certain person. Like there was only one specific bloodline that actually. Oh yeah. It's only like one specific bloodline that God really was like favoring and blessing and stuff like that. I mean, It just ain't fair. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. Don't like it at all. But you know, whatever. Um, yeah. We only read those 2 chapters. We'll continue next time, and hopefully we'll get something out of that. But yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, catch you next time. Hope you like my shirt.